Next up, let's say you're writing a library and you're writing the documentation for it. So you say, cargo doc, generate your documentation. You get something that looks like this, right? And you can actually put some crate level documentation here in between these two sections. But what often ends up happening is when you write this crate level documentation, it's something like, my Rust project, so on and so forth. Okay, cool. I'll generate that documentation again just so you can see what it looks like. Awesome. Looks like this. Awesome. This oftentimes ends up looking very similar to whatever you put in your README. So here's my README, and I have a very simple, silly example here, this nonsensical assertion. All right, so this is my README, and let's say I really want my README to just appear here as my crate level documentation. And that's what I do actually for many of my Rust projects as well. It's just easier to, it's essentially the same information many times. All right, so let's do that. The first thing that we're going to need to use here is this crate level attribute, this doc attribute, which is actually, putting something in this doc attribute here, like so, is actually, it does the same thing as those, these special documentation comments, the // comments. So we said hello, now it says hello. Actually, we can demonstrate that again here. We can say this is like a normal comment, like so. And then here we'll say doc equals, and this is from an attribute, like so. Generate our docs again. And it says, and this is from an attribute. Cool. All right. So we'll use that. That's step one. And the next step is to use this include str macro right here. We put a file name in here. It's readme.md. And now this is going to literally just insert the contents of our README file here into this documentation comment. So we can see evidence of that. We run cargo doc, and there we go. It shows up. But we still have this nonsensical assertion here. All right. And actually, if we run cargo test, it'll run that test for us. It'll run the code inside of here and make sure that it passes as if it were a normal test. So these are just documentation tests is how it's running a doc test right there. So let's fix this. We'll say 1 is actually less than 2. That's correct. Let me run cargo test. Perfect. The other way that we could get around this is say comma ignore right here. And then if we build our docs, that'll show up in the docs as well. So we say cargo doc, refresh that, and it'll notify us here. It'll say this example is not tested